gameplay of Alien: The Lost Worlds campaign. This is from the Building Better Worlds sourcebook, all about exploration and colonization and such. And with me, a dynamic duo, our delightful duet of cast members. When it's your turn, just introduce yourself, say who you're playing, give both yours and your character's pronouns. We'll save any plugs for end of the episode, and anything like that. So, Matt, do you want to go first?
Sure. I'm Matt E. from Old Bones Publishing, and I'm playing Tanner Skoll. He, him, his, and Tanner is a damaged ex-space marine.
All right. Corbin.
I am Corbin from the Awkward GM on YouTube. My character is Wayland O'Brien, the second in command of the ship, who came from a lower class family and gradually got his way up the ziggurat lickety split to be second in command of the ship.
Okay, excellent. And pronouns for the...
Oh, he, him.
Okay, great. All right. This is one of the funny things I'm going to be finding out here is because I have Foundry open to run this. You two can't see it yet, but anyone looking at it is going to see, like, if I click NPCs, here's the long list of NPCs that you might run into at some point over the course of this campaign. So I'm going to have to be very careful with how I handle that. Okay, so we'll kick things off right away, and so the purpose of the Lost Worlds campaign is that a joint mission between the powers of Earth, known as the Great Mother Mission, has gone out past the Middle Heavens to the far Spinward colonies to try and make contact again with colonies that were lost after, I don't know, what do you call it? Like an astronomical event? Something like that. Event in space. I was going to say astrological, but that's not this game. And so our two PCs are assigned to the UNCSS Solovetsky Island. It's a Magellan-class scientific vessel. Now, the Wayland O'Brien is the second in command officer of the ship. The commander, Keating, is kind of a step back, sort of put things in motion and then trust the crew to do it. Both of our PCs are independent contractors hired by the UN as part of this mission. So they have declared no allegiance to any specific great power. And I think I do maybe want to quickly, just to give everyone a bit of a sense of what's going on, a little lead up on the nation states of this time. So there's the Three World Empire, which is made up of the former UK, Japan, and a number of other countries. The Wayland-Yutani Corporation is a result of the formation of it. So basically, UK company Wayland merged with Japanese Yutani. They're pioneers of space exploration. They have many long-established inner colonies, but only a limited presence on the frontier. There are the United Americas, created in the early 2100s to compete with the Three World Empire. They are a merger of North, Central, and South America into one nation. It's a major colonizing and starfaring power, regularly expanding, and they operate both the colonial marines and the colonial navy, the most powerful peacekeeping forces on the frontier. The third is the Union of Progressive Peoples. The UPP is a socialist bloc of systems that has a large but resource-poor sector, coalition of countries that included Russia, Vietnam. It's the only non-corporate influenced government. And though they're kind of behind in the arms race, they still field a pretty formidable fighting force. The United Americas and the UPP have had a state of Cold War, surprise, for decades. And then we have the Independent Core System Colonies, the ICSC. It's a loose conglomerate of privately owned worlds. Wayland Yutani does have a little bit of, fingers in the pie of the ICSC on account of the fact that you've just got these individual groupings here, and then that's kind of that. So that'll give you a bit of a very quick primer on some of what might be mentioned here over the course of this campaign. So we're going to begin, and I'm going to I'm going to read the opening preamble here. I'm not personally like a massive fan of opening preambles that aren't entirely generated by myself, but I will try to give this as compelling a read as I can. It is good, but it will help set the stage for where we begin the campaign. All right. Your Magellan SEV, scientific exploratory vessel, docks gently with the UNCSS Ianla, secured to its docking ring alongside the other three, the Umsindisi, Chimata no Kami, and Typhoon. As clamps thunder quietly shut, you send a cheerful farewell message to Ianla's captain, Tades Kondwani. "See you in 2 years," comes the reply from the ship's android Gaius before you head to the cryo deck. Your ship's daughter flickers her lights and your canopy starts to close. The last thing you see is the distorted image of your ship's working Joes. These are synths. James and Miss Sophie, as you call them. And the last thing you hear is one of them whisper, "Sleep well." 102 weeks and 5 days later, and thousands of Wayland Yutani dollars banked already, because you get paid in cryosleep. This is the way to make a living. You think that until hypersync kicks in, and for about 20 minutes you wish you were dead. An hour later, and you're ready for the post-arrival briefing. You and the rest of the crew file quietly through the airlock, board the immense UNCSS Ianla, where you eventually take a seat in the spacious mess hall, alongside your fellow pioneers. The room buzzes with conversation, 100 voices, all talking about the same things. Have we arrived? What news from home? The coffee's still shit. Then, Governor Kolwa Abantu stands at the front and calls for quiet. First, the good news. We have all arrived on the fringes of the far spinward colonies without a hitch. Home is now more than 30 parsecs behind us. But, talking of home, here's the bad news. The United Americas and Union of Progressive Peoples are at war. Fighting has broken out across the frontier and hostilities are ongoing. Furthermore, the world of New Albion has broken away from the three-world empire, and while there are no hostilities yet, some fear it may come to blows. But the political stupidities of our governments do not change the situation here. We are a United Nations expedition and have a mission to fulfill for the good of humankind. So leave your petty political rivalries back in the Middle Heavens. And talking of bad news, we have not picked up any signals as we had hoped we might. What this says about the fate of the people out here, we won't know until we explore. But as a precaution, for now, we will keep 2 of our SEVs with Ianla and send only 2, Typhoon and Solovetsky Island, to reconnoiter the old colonies. Good luck, everyone. And please, be careful out there. There's a moment's silence, and then pandemonium breaks out right before you. Valentina Beretsy of the United Americas leaps to her feet, pointing her finger at the UPP General Nurian Olezinski. "We can never trust you UPP bastards!" Olezinski pulls himself to his impressive height, tense, restrained. Others start to shout, while Colonel Buston and Leanna Young-hee of the Three World Empire try to intervene until they fall into an argument about the New Albion Protectorate. Wayland Yutani director Kamal Vartuhi stands still to one side, arms crossed, an onlooker, while Governor Abantu waves his arms in a futile attempt to restore peace. Electo Throop, the freelance search and rescue captain sitting next to you, leans over, calm and collected, and she says, didn't think I'd have to rescue people from inside the mothership. What do you do?
How much is this escalating right now?
Right now, it's shouting, and they
I
haven't
think
gotten past shouting. So let's say it's
I th
about a 4,
well, a 4 out of what,
10,
100?
10,
Damn it. Uh,
4 out of
5?
5,
No.
yeah, 4 out of 3, more like that.
I
So,
think I'll look for the captain, our captain,
mhm,
Captain Commander Keating.
yeah.
What's he doing right now?
Uh,
Or she? I
he,
didn't get their pronouns.
um,
He's.
he's a he's Three World Empire by sort of ancestry, but also UN affiliate here. He's not doing the sort of passive observer thing that WY director R2 he's doing, but he's kind of doing like a head count of the crew of the Solovetsky Island. Like, you, yeah, okay, and just sort of moving his finger between each of them, and then you can kind of see him sort of trying to usher them off to the side.
I'll look to Tanner and be like, looks like the captain's getting ready to get us all out of here, so maybe we should get out of Dodge while we can.
Yeah, I don't know what to make of these jokers, but I mean, come on. We came out here for a reason, right?
Yeah.
What's this got to do with what's going on back
I mean, yeah.
2 years of travel?
I mean, hey, I've read like speculative fiction novels where they're like someone's been in the pods for hundreds of years and empires have fallen, governments have been replaced by the new government or whatever that no one's ever heard of. Like, I mean, come on, like this shit's to be expected, right?
Well, it's hard for me to get excited about it. I'm not sure I could trust any of them in the first place. One reason I'm here.
I mean, what's the politics of presidents and kings got to do with like making sure some colonists are all right or setting up some stations out in the middle of bumfuck nowhere. Like, seriously, I don't know.
Yeah, it's the kind of stuff I wanted to leave behind.
I think we should. Let's go see the commander.
I'm with you.
All right. So the commander has gathered your crewmates off to the side. The android Gaius, the Ayanla's ship android, is standing there as well. He hands over a data disk. Quite a display, wouldn't you say? I'm not convinced that these missions shouldn't be android only, if you ask me. These are your
Uh,
assignments.
thank you. I mean, you need that human touch, don't you think? Well, I guess you. Sorry, touchy subject.
That remains to be seen. So I don't see any point in delaying your departure any further. I'll brief you in detail when you're en route.
Thank
The
you.
So he sort of turns and goes back to his commanding officer, and your commander sort of ushers everyone. Let's go back down the hallways and corridors to our ship.
You guys heard the commander. Get in line.
I have an out of character question.
Yes.
Do do androids look, dress, and behave just like people or do they always wear like an orange jumpsuit so you can tell you're dealing with an android?
Good question. I don't immediately know, but let's say for now, yes. You know of three, or we've mentioned three:
Yeah. And
Gaius,
the
and then your two.
and the working Joes look more robotic, if I recall correctly. I played Alien Isolation a little, and they're like they've got like their face is definitely just like a composite with like glowing eyes and stuff like that.
Right. Okay. So there we go.
Okay.
Pretty obvious ones for them. And I believe they did speak relatively
They
mechanically.
I'll share a picture with you guys in the
All right.
Discord.
Sounds good. Anything in particular you want to do on your way? I'll introduce you to the crew as sort of as we get to them, so as to not overwhelm you and our viewers at home with a whole like list of NPCs to keep in mind.
Mhm.
But looking at the data disk on your personal data unit, it's
Hmm.
a list of it's basically a list of colonies and then the sort of current status of them. Your your first oh yeah, that's in Dark Descent as well. They're pretty they're pretty evidently not human.
Not human colonies?
No, I'm sorry. I was looking at the picture of the working
Oh,
Joe.
yeah.
Your first one is set, but otherwise you'll have kind of free reign to do them as you
Oh,
like.
okay. So the colony is not called set. It's just we have to go there first.
Yeah,
It's
that's
the term.
it'll be the first one, but then at that point, you really he's highlighted your three first assignments, the first three
Okay.
colonies to go to. The initial one will be KOI 26501 Gorham Colony. It's a windswept mining outpost with a population of 1 million. And then
Yeah.
at that
There's
point,
been no signal from any of these colonies, you said.
that's correct. All right. Oh, so I threw that into the chat. I assume
Yeah,
you guys saw.
I'm reading reading it right now and like making some notes. A population of 1 million, windswept mining outpost. It looks like most of the colonies here have less than 1 million people on here, with a few, or less than 2 million, we'll say, because there are a few above that are like 6 million. But there's one colony that's literally just 50 people. It's like
Yep. Plat
crazy.
outpost, but it's a science outpost, right?
Yeah,
So
that's
that would
fair.
be that makes a little more sense. It's not like this mining colony with 6 million people, but it has agriculture, Great River Plains, things like that. So
So when it means windswept, it's like a desert, kind of.
yeah, like pretty kind of like arid and barren,
Okay.
dusty.
I'll uh I'll hand the data disk to the commander and say our first assignment is Gorham Colony, population 1 million, uh, windswept mining outpost. What are your orders?
Set a course, he says to the pilot, and your ship takes off, floating through the dark of space into the far colonies with no immediate idea of what you're going to find. Heading toward your destination, you receive a video call from Gaius from UNCSS Ianla. Gorham Colony KOI 2650.01 is a mining colony established in 2067, terraformed. Our records show the planet is rich in pentlandite, iron ore, and some trace elements. The population in 2100 was noted as 1 million. Founded by J.V. Gorham, site of the deepest drilling, apparently at 23 kilometers, was introducing non-indigenous life to help with mining operations. Earth standard gravity, orbits a red giant star with a diurnal length of 36 hours. arid with high winds and frequent sandstorms. That's all I have for you. As you know, our mission is first and foremost exploratory and humanitarian. See what's there, and if anyone needs immediate assistance, then establish contact with any political authority and negotiate their return to the United Nations fold. If there's no one there, assess the planet for immediate recolonization, and don't forget to recover the colony's long data disk so we can analyze their history. You will need to file a colony potential report. I'm expecting your assessments of future mining potential, scientific research opportunities, any local life that's worth investigating, and of course, any ad hoc opportunities for scientific, commercial, or financial benefit. You will report your findings back to me. Hail and farewell. And the video ends.
Awesome. Sounds like should be interesting. I wonder what the non-indigenous life that they brought for the mining was.
That's exactly what I was wondering. I can't imagine that it was donkeys.
All I can think is some sort of, I don't know, maybe they had some mutant type thing going on. I have no idea. The but so set to go to this place. Do we have downtime before we get there?
Yeah, a
How
little bit.
long does it take? Yeah.
I was thinking of maybe doing some research on members of our crew. How many crew members do we have exactly on our
Sure.
ship?
Let me pull them up here.
You don't have to give me their names. I just need a number.
No.
Yeah.
Well, in terms of, oh, actually, I do have a specific number. Hold on. Okay. So the crew's up to 16. Yeah, but in part, it has a lot of exploratory gear. So I'll tell you a bit about the UNCSS Solovetsky Island to answer some of your questions as well. So, crew of up to 16. It has 2 Class D lifeboats, one configured as a science facility, the other as a relief boat, along with escape pods. It carries 4 Daihotai Series 8x8 tractors, 4 AlphaTech XT37C 4x4 off-road vehicles, 2 EVA 7C salvage and rescue pods, and 2 heavy excavators. Cryo sleep beds for 18 people, med pods for 12 seriously injured patients. But it has a capacity of up to 100 for short journeys or in the event of an emergency. And you've got a cargo hold full of humanitarian items, essentials, spare parts, tools. The crew is typically cross-trained in a number of disciplines, but have the commander. There are about 2 pilot navigators, 2 mechanics, 2 security officers, 1 scientist, 1 prospector, and then there's an ICC protocol inspector. And then you have the 2 working Joes.
Okay.
Everyone has, and you should have it as well from when we did character creation, a personal data transmitter that has a detection range of 20 kilometers.
Awesome.
Is
Of the
Sorry. I was
No.
wondering if Wayland was one of the pilots.
Do you have piloting skills?
No, I don't
No.
think so.
No.
I have command, manipulation, observation, comm tech, and range combat and heavy machinery.
You're very much an officer.
Yeah, field commander is what I have the
Right.
talent for. Um, and then I did want to check out if anyone on our ship has competing allegiances, because I don't want to find out that when we drop onto this planet that we have like a handful of people who are going to be at each other's throat because of some political BS that's back on Earth or whatever.
Well, so you kind of, how to best put it, and I'm working from initially the named NPCs. It's sort of set up so that there are redundancies. So like one of everything, and then PCs can fit in as a secondary, or
Okay.
rather part of a pair of chief security officers or pilots and so on. Most of them are mercenaries, or like mercenary contractors like you guys.
Okay.
You know that the ship's counselor and security officer are both Three World Empire. There's a little a bit of friction between them. The counselor is a little critical of the Three World Empire, in favor of the New Albion Protectorate, whereas the security officer is a former Royal Marine. So, you know, no. And then, well, thankfully, there aren't too many United Americas
Hmm.
allied citizens here. The, your mechanic is UPP, but apart from that, you know, you're pretty. You seem thankfully to have wound up with a crew that is not super tense. Hence why the commander kind of just like, let's all go. I know you two and you also aren't okay with each other, sort of, but not like these guys are. So let's get out of here and go do the job we came here to do.
Okay.
How many security folk are among these 16?
Uh,
There's this
Two.
commander.
So we have there's security officer Hamida Amir, and then there's an open one. I don't think we gave Tanner a position, did we?
No, he he's not he's just going to be a colonist and to be a pair of hands.
Okay.
It just so happens that he knows how to handle himself. But this is one of the things that he would take stock of,
Yeah.
when you're with the crews, like who's going to be able to be reliable if shit gets real.
Right. No, makes sense. Okay. So, so he has no interest in being the other security
No,
officer.
no, that's all right. We can let that be,
Okay.
and he can just be maybe an asset at some point,
Fair enough. I will detail that second person later on
right?
as they become relevant. Okay. Any other questions before you arrive at Gorham Colony?
So population of 1 million was listed for the year 2100 and it's now 2185. That's a long time.
That is correct.
Hmm. Do we know when the last data transmission was?
Not to my immediate knowledge.
Yeah.
What you know was in your briefing from Gaius.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
I'm ready for whatever now. I think we're pretty set. I may be like patrolling the ship a little bit, like making sure people are doing the job and not getting into arguments with each other, stepping in only when necessary.
Okay. Good. Good. All right. Interesting. Let me see if I can find something here for you. It might be a nice little thing to have. No, I don't seem to have it there, but let's do a quick search. No. Okay, I'm going to post it in the chat for you guys in 1 second. as I give you a better look at it. Okay. You can ignore a small section of it right now, because we as players have not gotten to that stage of things. That's the resource potential. But actually, hold on. Let's not do this yet. So don't
Okay.
look at what I just posted.
Okay.
Let me delete it.
I should have waited a little bit longer, I guess.
You got eager. That's appreciated, but fair enough. Okay. So, all right.
So Tanner's keeps studying the people around him and trying to, just keep a low profile. But he's not much of a thinker, but he would like to know if anyone starts to get a little squirrely around him. When you're in a team, it's important to keep an eye on these kinds of things.
Oh, legit. Yep. Okay. So the Solovetsky Island arrives at the location of Gorham Colony at KOI 265001. It looks kind of like an Earth-like planet. It orbits a red giant that kind of, when you get closer and start to do your scans and sweeps, gives everything a very pale, rusty orange tinge. We have that filter on instead of that blue one. And right now, there seem to be sort of frequent dust storms across the planet. Oh, and Corbin's filtered himself. That's a brilliant idea.
Yeah, there's sepia, and then there's the one I just chose right now, which is cinnamon.
Cinnamon. Cinnamon seems like a good idea.
Or,
Okay.
or I could have.
Is this in Zoom?
It's in Zoom, yeah.
It's in Zoom, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I've got a little bit of it too. Nice. Okay. So, in between the storms, so when you get an actual look at the planet itself, you can see the sort of remains of kind of isolated settlements. They look industrial, mechanized. They're pipes and smokestacks, tanks and containers, all of them covered in dust. It isn't, from this vantage at least, they don't look anything other than deserted and derelict.
All right. Well, it looks like we're gonna need to send a crew down to do some investigations. Um, any radio signal coming back, SOS or anything of the sort?
Uh, so you send out a radio call, but you haven't gotten any responses yet.
Okay, Commander, shall we get a crew together and do some investigation? What are your orders?
Agreed. Yes. There's very little we can do from up here, and then one of the crew points out there's a heat signature and electrostatic noise coming from a location we've been able to pinpoint, Tontus Ravine.
Is that where the mining facility was located?
It seems like they were in a number of places, but there should be, as we seem to think, there should be a facility there as well.
Okay. Um,
How far
so
is that?
Pardon me?
How far is that?
Not far away. So you can get there relatively speedily and get a bit of a look-see at the whole thing.
Does this place have breathable atmosphere?
Um, yes, it's been terraformed.
Terraform.
Yeah.
Right. So it's got dust storms. Do we need protective gear or like, filtration to breathe or anything?
Yeah, I mean that stuff couldn't hurt, of course, to take down with you.
Yeah.
And there's sufficient
Oh,
gear for that.
I,
Who
I
rolled a
accidentally
die?
I accidentally rolled. I'm sorry. I was trying to click the information on my compression suit.
Got it. Okay.
Well, I don't have one of those. I've got armor.
Yep. Yeah. Don't worry about. Well, I mean, do and don't worry about those those things. We'll kind of cross those as we get a little more familiar with how each of these work, because I don't intend to forget to make you make air supply rolls and food and water rolls and power supply rolls. All the great things that where you start when you start to lose them, you wonder how you ever did without them, and also that ratchet up the tension. Okay, so the commander's going to send the two of you, as well as at his insistence, ICC Inspector Tan Blatchman, who would like to go planet side. This is merely an observation request on my part. We're ensuring that ICC protocols are applied in the field. You get closer to the location. It's in the middle of a vast rocky plain, which is covered in cracks, right? So all sorts of ravines and canyons, chasms, and such. And a quick flyover shows that there is this facility, and it's right at the bottom of a wide ravine. You can see solar panels on the plain above, windmills, and not far away from the ravine, you can see what look to be the remains of an old Bison-class ship. And then a looks to be a kind of crude access ramp down into the ravine. An estimate you could probably get one of the 8x8s down there.
Okay. So we're taking a lifeboat down is what I'm imagining.
No,
The ship can make it itself.
it seems like it can, to my
Okay.
knowledge.
I'm not used to a vessel that a spacecraft that can make planetfall, I guess. I'm imagining stuff from like Warhammer or things like that where they're so huge that it's
Sure.
like they could
Think more
crash.
think more Prometheus or something like that, right?
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah,
I think I'm hung up on the background image that we have, and I thought we were going to roll up in one of these, ground transports.
Well, that's the thing is you could. It looks like there is a ramp that you could take one of the Daihodai 8x8s in
oh
there.
yeah.
So, yeah, you can't land in the ravine. That's definitely a no-go. So they're trying to find a good spot to set down. Let's see here, because I'll recognize his name, won't I? Oh, there he is. Yeah. Well, since none of you are pilots,
Yeah.
your pilot Dudge, or Andy Dudgeon, is going to try to set you down near the bison itself. That seems to have a enough space to sort of safely land.
Okay.
And we're gonna roll piloting. Oh yeah, successful. So all you require is to get a 6 for a success, and he has 2. I'm not going to push it to avoid gaining any stress. He just very calmly sets down next to the bison, and you 3 can, if you want to take one of the vehicles, you can. Otherwise, you'll be walking out there.
It is not too far. We can walk. How do our bosses feel about people walking around like decked out? Because I mean, Tanner has his stuff. He's not an official security guy, but I mean,
You mean carrying his smart gun?
well, or at least his armor.
Well, to be honest, and not super under the hood, you guys kind of have this is pseudo sandboxy in the sense that you'll have your choices of uh, you know which scenario to kind of go to at times and so on and so forth.
Right.
But also, well, what's command going to say to you right now? And like, you're answerable to your ship. So if you want to go down there decked out, and you have good reason for it, I guess think of the after report and how you might justify the uh, the worst the worst outcome. So if you're ready to go like, I needed it, as it turned out, there were all sorts of hostile alien life forms, and I had to shoot every one of them. You can see it from the camera. Then that, great, perfect justification. So if Tanner's like, I'm not going down there, we're going to try and introduce non-indigenous life. Who knows what that could be? I am going armored, and I'm carrying this thing with me, but I won't use it unless I have to. You know,
Right.
I mean, that seems like a reasonable assumption on our part.
I think so.
That
Yeah.
one. It's not like we got a radio signal back saying, "Hey, it's all safe here. Come and just smell the roses with us."
Yeah, you got no
Exactly.
radio signal back, and
It's a barren wasteland.
yeah, so
You carry the bandages and you carry the rocket launcher.
exactly.
Hmm.
So yeah, you can take it with you.
Okay. He's feeling a little more secure now.
The ICC inspector just kind of looked overkill.
Just the right kill.
I look at his name's Hatchman, right?
Blatchman.
Blatchman.
Yeah.
And I say, listen, yeah, it's better if we bring something along and don't have to use it than we bring something along and we don't bring it along and we need to use it.
Reasonable. Yes, I understand that.
We don't have any signals from this planet. We have a heat signature. We don't know what could be there. Honestly, the entire they could just be dead and there's a reactor that's leaking or something. We need to just be safe, figure things out.
That's a logical assumption. I can accept that.
Thank
All right.
goodness.
So, anything else you want to do in preparation before piling in and driving this thing?
Um, I mean, I'm bringing my gun and I'm bringing my compression suit, but I
Mm-hmm.
guess I don't need the helmet really. Like, I don't need the oxygen tank. I can have it open, right? Or something. Or... Damn
Yeah,
it,
I think
I
so.
rolled it again.
Bro, what are you doing?
The one thing I'll point out is when you do roll stuff in here, if the outcome updates anything on your sheet, it's gonna update it. So you'll want to just go in and maybe change it if your stress starts building up because you click the wrong buttons. So so that when you do have to roll, you're stressed. It
Okay.
doesn't explode
Yeah.
on you.
It just says I have a wireless helmet cam and heads-up display, but I also have it has an oxygen tank, so I'm guessing it's mainly for space shit.
Yeah, that's kind of what my thought was too. We can look up the compression suit as well.
Yeah. But it means it's my only form of like armor,
Yes.
so I'll wear it.
Okay. All right. Okay. So, are you walking or are you going to take the vehicle?
I think we should take the vehicle.
Sure. I mean, why not?
We
Okay.
we maybe we'll take one of the pilots, Dudge, maybe, and ask him to stay in the vehicle while we do the investigation.
Righto. I can do that.
Thanks, Dudge. We'll be back by sh two shakes of a lamb's tail.
Keep in radio contact.
Yeah, that's why Dudge is here.
Long
Click, click.
indigenous life. Maybe they were lambs.
All right. So,
Lambs to the slaughter.
I mean, don't get too ahead of yourself. This is only the first scenario. The difference between campaign and cinematic Alien is that there's a slower build up to you all dying. Okay, so you drive down the ramp of the Solovetsky Island and out onto the surface. It's not there's no massive dust storm where you are right now, so your vision is pretty clear. And Dudge turns towards the bison and starts, along the surface. We can use a ramp up there, eh? It'll get us down into the ravine.
Oh, you think it still will support our weight? It's not rusted or anything?
Well, from what I saw up there, oh, I'm going all sorts of accents here, aren't I? From what I saw up there, it looks secure enough, so we'll test it out when we get there.
Okay.
So this is a an artificial ramp that's just suspended. It's not like an earthen ramp that was carved out of the ravine floor or anything like that.
No, it could even be, yeah, part of the ship even used
Okay.
as a secure level surface the to get in and out.
Okay.
You wouldn't be able to drive anything into the ravine any other way. It looks like so. Anyway, it's not that far up there, only 500 meters. So in short time, he slows it down, and you come to a halt. You want to check the ramp there.
Yeah. Let's give it a once over. Uh Blatchman is ICC. What does that mean? Is like he is he at all capable of doing a estimate on heavy load bearing stuff?
Oh fuck no.
Okay.
Uh,
Is he
he
a corporate suit?
well, he's not a no, he's not a corporate suit, but he's still basically a suit. Like
Yeah.
you know, under the hood, as savvy players, he is really kind of in the way. But
Okay.
like the guy, he's the guy with the clipboard who's going to get in the way of everything,
Right.
and we'll see what happens.
Okay. I could use either observation or heavy machinery maybe to make the assessment.
Heavy machinery.
Heavy machinery. Okay. I only have
Well,
one in that
no,
and one in
I think
observe.
observation is fine. But if they're the
Okay.
same,
They're the same, but I think my wits is higher, so I'll use
oh, okay.
observation.
Yeah, yeah, that's fair.
I got 1 6.
1 6. Yeah, that's a success. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, it looks It looks stable enough to handle the load
Okay.
to get down there.
Oh,
In fact, you do see the remnants of tracks sort of, all around it.
okay. How old would I say they are?
Hard to say on account of the frequency of dust storms, but
Okay.
you know, new enough that
They
you can
haven't
still
been
see
blown
them.
away yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll wave to the 8x8 and say over comms, we're all good. Let me jump back in and
All
jump
right.
in as we pull down.
Yeah.
Sure.
So he, and then slowly into the ravine itself. The
Now that ramp is our only way in and out. So let's keep that in mind. We have to make sure that nothing bad happens to that ramp ever.
Or something does if we need to get out of Dodge and something's chasing us.
That's
Right,
true.
right, right. Behind us, not in front of us.
Yeah. I'll uh I'll say to Dodge, make sure you're pointing back in this direction when we park, just so that we don't have to make a K turn to get out of here.
Good idea. All right. Okay. So following this, you get into the ravine near where the facility is. It's it's a dead end area. So you have this. Not only do you have this one access point into the ravine, you have this one access point into this
Dead end.
clearing dead end of it, and so there are a number of buildings around it. You can see what look like processing facilities and
Hey,
water tanks, greenhouses, things like that.
hey Tanner, did you ever hear about the blue and red armies that had two opposing bases on either side of each other in a box canyon?
No, why don't you tell me about them?
Oh, well, it got really crazy in the fourth season. Uh,
Oh, you you crack me up.
they had a car that was a Puma, apparently.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. I mean, except one of them called it a warthog because it had these like tusks. But that was more like a mammoth to me. I don't know.
Judge like I think I saw
Or
that.
or a chupa thingy.
All right then. Yeah.
Uh,
Oh.
no lights, no sound.
Okay. So, uh, you actually, as you enter that area, over over towards the mine area, which is sort of on the southern part near the processing, you see a number of figures standing there. Human appearing. You count six, varying sizes.
Standing there.
Standing there, but they don't. This isn't in like a zombie way or anything like that. One even
Mm,
raises a hand as the vehicle gets a little closer,
okay.
and then Dutch, you know, stops.
Okay. I'll look over to everyone. Time to say hi to the locals.
Yeah. Hmm.
Wonder why they didn't answer their comms.
Yeah, exactly.
Uh,
Well, let's go
Let's
out and find out why.
right.
yeah.
You remember all that stuff they told us about on the big boat? Let's maybe not mention any of that. Let's not lead with that.
Yeah, let's not lead with the political machinations. We're here from the UN. We're trying to help these colonists get back into the fold, uh, figure out how the planet's doing,
And why they're
resource
not talking.
wise.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And
So,
why they're not talking. Yeah, no comms.
yeah.
Okay.
I'll step out and I'll raise my hand, say hello. I'm assuming we're all like kind of wearing masks at this point and we're talking over some sort of speakers or something.
I think that's probably a reasonable way to do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So one of them steps forward.
Hello, we're from the Slovensky. I'm second in command, O'Brien. Over here you can here's my friend Tanner. He's here to help. We're here to help. Uh, we're from the UN, and it seems like you guys have been out of contact for quite a while. How are you doing out here?
You're from the UN.
Independent contractors, but yeah, we're from.
And what are you doing out here? You're here to
We
help.
have you guys have been out of contact for how long? How long has it been?
A long time. This is
85 years.
Yeah.
middle-aged middle-aged man speaking. This is 85 years.
How long were you on the original colonists or one of the original colonists, or have you guys been on your own for this long outside of cryosleep?
We've well, yeah, it's been a while. So I'm we're we're all that's left.
How long have you guys been out of cryosleep for?
Oh, gee, it's a while.
Longer than you've been alive?
Longer than we've been alive. You mean in cryosleep longer than being alive, or?
No, like you've been the last time that the time that the ship landed was before you were born.
Oh, I see, I see, I see. Yes, for some of us.
For you?
Me, yes. I'm sorry. Morgan Parks, my wife Violet, our son Benny, and excuse me, I can introduce myself. A woman steps forward. Amelia Marino, my brothers Danny and Diego.
Awesome. Nice to meet you all. Glad to see you're making life out here in the frontier, as it were.
We are
Um,
doing what we can. I should note there are two more of us as well.
I had so how many in total of you are here?
8.
Eight. Is that colony or planet wide?
To the best of our knowledge, planet wide.
What happened to the 1 million that was here 80 some years ago?
I I guess things happened over time.
I
Uh,
mean,
We're not in. We've done our best to sort of hold up as we can, but trade dried up. Over some left, some simply didn't make it in
hmm,
other locations.
Yeah, you guys were the only hotspot of activity that we could find from our scans, and that reminds me, we did try to send signals out. Do you guys not have radio comms down here?
No, we do. We didn't answer on purpose. We weren't sure who you were. We weren't positive what was happening. This is still it's still Morgan sort of
Yeah.
leading the conversation.
Mhm.
Okay. Are you mayor or best equivalent at this point, I guess?
The the two families we live here, we work here, we do our best to work together. Um,
What's your work?
we're
In
mining. There is still ore, and
the absence of trade, but you haven't been in contact with anybody for 85 years.
Yeah, what do you need the ore for at this point?
now, now it has some use, but it was
Yeah,
one of those weren't sure what else to do. We've been working on our greenhouses, things like that, but one has to be careful.
yeah, no
There
worries.
was a year ago. There was a ship that came here. We hid, but they came and ransacked what they could of some of the available
Yeah.
things. They boarded our ship, the Janku, and must have stripped parts and so on.
Okay.
That ship up there at the top of the round.
Yes, that's right. That one.
Mhm.
There so I did have we do have, of course, our mission parameters and all that stuff. I did want to ask about the indigenous uh not indigenous, what was it? It was non-indigenous
Non-indigenous
life.
life.
Non-indigenous life that was brought as part of the colony operations.
That
Can you,
uh, could Tanner make an observation roll, please?
I don't like his odds. He's got 0 in observation.
Okay. Well, so what we could do is
I've got one
O'Brien
in
could make the
observation.
roll, and you could assist him and give him an extra die.
Yeah.
Let me just double
I'd be
check.
glad to.
Let me double check that you can assist without having the skill.
Paper books, my goodness.
Yep, yep. I next page.
I liked clicking the stunts for the skill for observation, and it says for every extra success you roll, you get to know one of the following answers. Is it coming for me? Is it close? Are there more of them? How do I escape?
That's amazing. Yeah, it doesn't say you have to have the skill roll, so yeah, you can assist.
So I would click the observation skill, and then it would say like if someone's assisting or
It should have an option for modifying. No?
no. It just when I clicked it, it just ran. I got two
Okay.
successes though.
No, that's good. What if you
Good enough.
if you right click, you can add one to the base modifier. So for now, just go into the chat window
Yeah.
and do slash roll 1d6. Okay, so
Okay.
two successes. So you succeed, and then you got one extra if you want to spend it on any sort of stunt.
Uh, I mean, it sounds like I can use the stunts after I get the initial.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
So as you've been talking, and especially when the subject of the ore came up, a And when Morgan was talking about the families working together, kind of all those points, each started to kind of give a there was a moment where something passed across their face, an expression of like sort of a dawning realization
Hmm.
on each of them. So, but I apologize. What was your last question to him?
The about the indigenous
Oh, right.
life, non-indigenous life.
Yes.
Also, since I noticed that look, are they coming for me? Are they out to get me?
No,
Okay, good.
no. The he kind of looks around. Marinos, do you know anything on this? They'll sort of shrug. Amelia speaks up. That was more of a scientific initiative, and well, we haven't done much advancing in the scientific realm here since. We don't know much about that. If they introduced them, then they let them loose in the wild. We haven't come across anything that we didn't already know was here. So
What's released them? What's them?
whatever these life forms were.
So you guys haven't encountered any life forms that other than yourselves here for the past.
Well, I mean, there are some reptilian. There's a variety of snake,
Mhm.
but nothing unusual for an alien planet.
Okay. So reptiles, snakes, that doesn't sound like a beast of burden or anything
That
useful
would
for
have been
mining.
brought here to do work. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if they were, they maybe they died off or were taken with
Mhm.
Okay.
people when they left the colony.
We did need to so it sounds like you guys would be open for negotiation on trade of the ore and incorporation and back into the UN if that's your jam.
We can talk.
Okay.
There's no need for
Uh
us to wait out here, though, if we want to
yeah,
go
we can
inside.
go inside. We do have a task of just getting some scans or copy of your long-term observation equipment. I forget what the term is called.
Long-term data,
Apologies.
long data
What-
disk.
Long data disk. If that's not a any issue, sounds like you guys aren't using it.
No, that's not a problem. We can arrange that.
Um, uh, Dudge, you can park the vehicle. We'll be here for a bit. Let them know, and I'll hand him my notes on what I've written down about what the status is. Indigenous, non-indigenous life introduced into environment hasn't been seen in decades. Um, no one knows what it is. Uh, and then only 8 people left out of the 1 million colonists, which I have circled basically.
From 1
Okay,
million people, from
1
1
million.
million people down to 8. That sounds actually more like my speed somehow.
I do not want to be around you then.
Well, there are a variety of reasons, illnesses. You'll
But you said people left for other colonies on the
and
planet.
and departure too. Once trade became more difficult, they went elsewhere to try to find a better a better life for themselves. But yeah, you'll find in the long data disk sort of the history of the colony, but the long and short was a mixture of all those things that we mentioned, and as well as the storms.
Yeah.
There are insect swarms that can sometimes be unsafe.
How big of an insect swarm?
The swarms themselves get. You don't want to be caught in one.
How big are the insects?
The insects aren't necessarily all that large, but there are many of them, and they are very good at being locusts.
Uh, how are those native?
Yes. Yes, that was not one of those non-indigenous life forms.
Yeah, we're just very suspicious, and we're we're trying to track down what that was.
No, of course, and as you know, as you should be, or at least be cautious. But
Yeah, and
much,
I imagine that information might even be on your long data disk.
we can give you access to it.
Okay, let's check this out.
What's your food situation like here?
Survivable. The greenhouse helps. We have enough power to run it most of the time. So we've survived. Not on the other colonists, in case you were thinking that.
Me? I wasn't thinking anything of the sort.
I mean, who here hasn't had a bit of no. I'm just joking.
Yes. Well,
I let's uh let's get this situation figured out. You're our first planet that we're talking to, so thank you for making this enjoyable experience.
Morgan tilts his head. You're you're welcome.
I have to say your hospitality is amazing.
Yes. Well, you're the first people we've seen in many, many, many years. So,
Maybe
what can we show you first?
Okay, well we'll go inside and get the long data
right.
first. Just Tanner, did you need anything?
Well, I don't know. I just thought maybe we could instead of using our own comms equipment, just take the opportunity to test theirs and contact the ship with it.
Yeah. If you'd like to do that, I'll take care of the data disk. Sound good?
I'd love to do it, but I don't know how to work that stuff.
Me looking now at my character sheet as a can I?
You do have contact.
Yeah, I have one.
I can tell you we did receive your calls. We
Yeah,
just
can you
chose
help
not to answer.
can you have help Connor here make contact with our ship just to
Right. That way they will know that you're in working order, and we will have ticked off one of our boxes. You know.
yeah.
Fine. Yes. Yes.
And we'll make sure to send security UN security to help fortify your location. Out of character, I don't know if that's even possible, but hey,
You make the promises you need at the time you need them.
yeah.
All right.
We'll
Very well
get
then.
to you in 5 to 10 business days.
Yes, exactly.
How long's a day here? Oh, 100 years? Yeah, that's
18,
fine.
18 hours.
You said
Okay.
something about a 36-hour day,
Yeah.
meaning with rotation, right?
Yeah. So let's see who takes you where.
And I'll keep the ICC guy with me,
Mm-hmm.
and allow Tanner to do things on his own if he sees fit.
Okay. Uh,
Gladly.
so in that case, three of them go with O'Brien. Morgan, his wife Violet, and Danny Marino. Oh, I'm sorry. No, not his wife. Emilia Marino, Danny, and Morgan. Violet shows Tanner to the comms array.
Okay.
And we'll do that one first. So you're just contacting your ship.
Right,
But
sure.
all right, well, the here's the system. I trust that you know your way around it, or do you need some help with it?
I definitely need some help with it. I just thought that, this was the common procedure that we ought to do. I'm not a comms guy.
Okay, well, I will. Let me let me poke about here. I might need help myself. I understand some of it, but not all. So she pokes at an intercom. Um, Benny, Benny, can you come up here? I'll need your help with this.
Benny and the Jets.
So, what is your goal? Your long-term plan here? It's to reinforce the colonies or bring them back. What is it you're trying to do?
Get an initial assessment, provide aid if needed, get them back into contact, into normal relations.
Very well. Good. And if, for example, there might be a need of some sort of law enforcement, you'll provide that as well?
Well, yes, I suppose, if there were a need.
Yes. No. Yes. Okay.
So, it seems awful quiet out here. I mean, really, just eight of you on this whole planet.
It is quiet.
Is that the kind of thing that's a relief or a burden?
It depends
Kind of
on
thing that gets to you?
it depends on who you're sharing your space with.
You two families get along well then?
Some of us.
Well, it's not my place to pry.
Well, It's not between the families so much as inside them.
Really?
Corbin, are you miming shooting somebody?
Joking. Sorry.
No, that's okay. Just seeing if you were trying to communicate via telepathy or mime.
I mean, I'm not in the room with him.
No, so you gotta do something.
Right. How long before our comms guy arrives?
My son is not always responsible, so hopefully soon.
Hmm.
Um,
Not always responsible sounds a little tough when there are only 8 of you here.
yes, well, he takes after his father.
So there are 2 out of 8 not responsible people here.
Um, he, Benny, Benny's just, he's not very smart. And so he makes bad decisions. His father doesn't take responsibility for what he does. And so things happen and nothing, and they're not fixed.
Hmm. Well, if only my guy had some empathy. But he don't.
Yeah,
Cut to Corbin.
back to Corbin. So, uh, Corbin, make an observation roll. Actually, no.
Okay.
You know what? No, you already made the observation roll earlier.
Yeah.
Alien does best when we don't make too many die rolls, on account of the potential for stress building up.
I'm already
Actually,
stressed.
you know what? In this case, I think that wouldn't be a bad thing. Yeah, go ahead and make an observation roll.
Okay. One success.
Okay, cool. Uh, Amelia and Danny don't tend to stay at a distance from Morgan.
Yeah.
You notice as you are walking into the basement of the facility.
Oh. The I'll which one's closer to me, Danny and Amelia or Morgan?
Morgan's sort of in the lead.
Okay.
So,
I'll talk to Morgan. I'll say everything all right between you and Danny? Your family and Danny?
why do you ask?
So actually out of character. So Danny is a Merino
Yep. Amelia,
and,
Danny, and Diego Marino.
Morgan and Amelia are away from Danny.
Other way around.
Other way around.
Danny and
Morgan,
Amelia,
Amelia are away from.
the
Yeah,
Marinos are away from Morgan.
yeah. It just seems like only 2 families here. You might be butting heads or something. I don't know.
Uh, Difficulties now and then.
How many how many generations of family have you guys had down here? I mean,
My father's here. My son. They
I
had
mean,
more family, but not anymore.
But you guys' families haven't like married into each other or anything like that.
No, not yet.
Okay. Well, hopefully we can get you guys some more people down here, more variety of neighbors if you get catch my drift. Uh, but yeah,
Yes.
like all this time you guys haven't really butt heads or anything like that. I hadn't had like accidents or family members like get into disagreements with each other.
Here's the vault. This is where the
Yeah, well,
long
thank you,
data
and
disk is.
you didn't answer my question.
Well, I just met you.
I know, I'm just getting the lay of the land.
Who
Apolog
wants to who wants to help me on this one? The two of them, Emilia and Danny, kind of look at each other. I'll do it, says Amelia, and she pulls a key card out of her pocket, and she and Morgan insert them simultaneously to open up the vault.
Okay.
Uh, Wait here, I'll get it.
All right. Who's said that?
That's
Which
Morgan.
one?
So
That's
Morgan
Morgan. Okay.
goes in, and you sort of hear him rummaging about.
So you guys have a bad history with the parks or something? You guys seem pretty standoffish to them.
We got along for a while. That's
What
Amelia.
changed? What changed?
Personal disagreements.
Um, Listen, I I know it might be personal for you guys, but I've got a job here to do, and I could really use some additional information to help me to help you in a way. Let me and can I roll a command empathy?
Ooh. Uh, yeah. Let me pull that one up.
Any information they can give us is more helpful to get the job done, and it will be helpful for everyone. It's a negotiation, you see.
This is more of a manipulation roll.
Ah, okay, I can roll manipulation too. Three successes.
Ooh. Okay. So, box next on the next page. Oh, okay. So hold on a sec,
I
because
do have extra stunts that I can do on it.
there may be some modifications here. No. Okay. I won't apply any of the pluses or minuses to this one because you already rolled, and I didn't think of it. So yeah, you could spend some stunts.
Okay. Your opponent does what you want without demanding a favor in return,
Mm-hmm.
and your opponent does more than you ask for. For example, giving you some more useful information.
Okay. Okay.
Details are up to the GM.
So Amelia looks at you and pokes her head inside the vault. Okay. Then she motions you to follow her a bit of a distance. Danny stays behind there.
Okay. All right. So what's the spill the tea? What's going on?
So what Morgan said was true about the colony. A lot of them left A lot of them have died from natural or environmental causes.
Yep.
Once the isolation came and we were cut off from all of you, we kept on going, mining away. And then, God, it was 20 years ago.
What was?
Patrick Parks, that's Morgan's father, shot my brother,
Why?
our elder brother Jose.
Was it a misfire, friendly fire, execution, crime?
They had a disagreement about something, and he decided that was the the best way to resolve it. And we were left with no choice except a truce. We didn't like them to begin with, but this did not help.
So you guys have basically been, what's the word?
In a
Festering the resentment. I,
yes, we,
I under,
if we got one person to handle this entire place themselves after everyone else gets killed trying to avenge each other, yeah, no.
Listen, I don't know what I can do to help in any of this. I'll make recommendations to the higher ups. It's been a long time since your father passed away. I'll
Was
see if I
killed.
can pa murdered. I'm not. Let's not sugarcoat it then. If you're, but we can get. I see one of two situations that I can do for you right now that are within the means, my means. I see one. We can make sure that your family gets a higher percentage share of any negotiated profits from the sale of the ore compared to the parks.
That's
Two, I can make sure that there's an arbiter that comes here or some sort of law enforcement judge take up a case. It's a cold case. Not sure what they're going to do about it. It's pretty much frontier justice out here. And in any case, you might be able to get some closure, but that's that's all up to you and the arbiter and who they get. I just don't want to see anyone doing anything stupid to help to right now. I just want to make sure that you feel comfortable.
well, that is appreciated. Now, it looks like he's coming back with it now, and yes, Morgan with Danny is walking towards you and hands you a data disk.
Awesome.
Everything you'll want to know is on there.
Okay. Um, I'm gonna take a look at the data disk. And is there any way to just like quickly scan through it, looking for what non-indigenous life forms were being brought on here?
Uh, sure, yeah.
Got
It was,
contact.
yeah. Oh, you don't need to.
Oh, okay.
I'm not gonna make you do that. It was beasts of burden, known as harvesters, and they lasted here for a time, but a sickness spread amongst them, and
Okay.
they all but died off.
Okay. I'll I'll say okay. Looks like we're all good here. Um, we still probably have to do some negotiating. But out of character, what do I need? Do I need them to like sign a document or something for the joining the UN?
I think you'd probably have to send an actual official to handle the actual
Okay.
reintegration. But
Is there any is there any document is there anything else on our mission criteria that I'm forgetting right now?
let's pull it back. Uh, see who or what's there, and if they need immediate assistance, establish contact with the political authority, and negotiate their return to the UN fold.
Okay.
So, sort of
I
tells you.
will, yeah, I'll ask for the I guess the long data disk has their resource stuff listed out there, so we're pretty good on that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll come over to Tanner and I say, Tanner, we're good over here. Just make sure their comms are working and we'll head back to the 8x8 and head out.
And this is about when your comms, personal comms, crackle up. And it's Dudge. Chief, we just got word from the Solovetsky.
Mhm.
They spotted a sandstorm coming this way and fast. It's a big one. I'm gonna hunker down in the 8x8, but you should all definitely get into shelter. They're taking off to avoid being caught in it.
Okay, you need some company out there? I look to our ICC friend.
What are you staring at me for? I would much rather be in shelter such as this building or whatever else the people here have available rather than in a truck.
Are you all right,
Blatchman.
Blatchman? Like, you're afraid of a little sandstorm?
Wary, as I think we all should be.
Yeah. Is
Well,
a
if our pilot needs help, you better have someone out there with him, don't you think?
uh,
He said it was coming fast. I don't want to be caught in between them.
yeah. I mean, you won't be if you don't start being a coward.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
I mean, like even a pussy like you could probably run that 500 meters back to the 8 by.
All right, I've had just about enough of that.
Oh,
Good. So take off.
yeah.
So he glowers and then leaves the room.
No, like let us know if you're actually going outside though, because I think I want to make sure you're all right if you're going out.
Turns back, gives you stink eyes. I will, and then keeps on.
Okay.
Keeps on walking.
I'll come over to Dudge and say, yeah, the our ICC friend is headed your way. You got a deck of cards in there, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Take him for all he's worth.
Yeah, okay.
Anyway, uh, let's. You guys
And
have a cantina in here? I'm parched.
we can get
Good
you
call, Wayland.
we can get you some 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 water.
Yeah.
But yes, let's we need to stay put. The the sandstorms, especially if it's that big of one, are nothing to be trifled with. So
You mentioned before like locust type storms. Is it possible this sandstorm's that?
we won't know until it gets here. I
Mm.
don't know what your sensors would have been able to pick up. So
Yeah. I'm I mean, our comm guy would have said, but who knows? Uh
well,
Speaking of comms,
and that's when you start to see off in the distance the large dark cloud sort of rolling towards you, getting closer and closer. And we will finish the session there.
okay.
So,
okay.
I hope you had fun on part one of this of the first scenario.
Mhm.
Yeah, okay.
It was pretty fun situation to be dropped into. So we will continue with the second one next time around. So we're gonna sign off. And everyone can pitch anything they want to. My suggestion, just based on my own ability to edit these in a timely manner, is pitch something evergreen. I've found that highly time sensitive ones may or may not get where they want to go. But Corbin, why don't we start with you, and then we'll do Matt, and then I'll wrap up.
I'm the Awkward GM Corbin. You can find me on Twitter, YouTube, and Blue Sky, and at the Awkward GM Corbin typically. And I just put out a PDF for the StoryPath Nexus Game Jam called. Ugh, I'm blanking on the name now. I was just looking at it. I believe it's Mission Generator Random Tables. Yeah,
Nice.
that's it. It is for Trinity Continuum, but it can be used for any system that's like modern, and it has a lot of useful D10 tables for random stuff like tactics for your enemies, environmental hazards, uh, character traits, professions, and things like that. So check it out. It's just $1 on Drive Through RPG.
Nice. All right. And you played.
Oh, and I played Wayland O'Brien, he, him, the second in command who's trying to prove that he is a worthy officer.
Excellent. Okay. All right. Next up, Matt.
Yeah, thanks. So yeah, I'm Matt E of the Mithras Discord. That's my game of choice these days. It's a D100 system, and I have Old Bones Publishing, which has a kiosk on drivethrurpg.com. And currently, I'm working on a scenario for release later in the year called Savage Swords in the City of Plagues, the latest in a series of Bronze Age sword and sorcery adventures. Mayhem
Nice.
and intrigue.
Nice. City of Plagues. Cool. All right. And you played.
I played Tanner Skoll, damaged ex-Marine looking for a fresh start.
Excellent. All right. And my name is Simon. I operate anything Tabletop Almanac related, be it the WordPress blog at uh, www.thetabletopalmanac.wordpress.com, or this YouTube channel, or possibly even a Twitch channel in the future, but also on Twitter, on Blue Sky, though I don't really post there as much, and so on. But you can find me at various spots around the interweb, be it the Onyx Path Twitch channel, Dorkdale's Twitch channel, and so on and so forth. So I have been running and been the game mother for this session of the Lost Worlds campaign for the Alien RPG from Free League Publishing. I did find it a bit meta that it's the Great Mother mission, and I am the game mother, and it's a mission that I help put you in position to do. But yeah, there we are. So Hope you enjoyed. Please join us for the next session where we dig deeper into what's going on in this colony and deal with a sandstorm of sorts.
That
So
definitely doesn't have bugs in it.
Definitely not.
Definitely.
I can neither confirm nor deny that. But if you have the book or the PDF, you can probably do that yourself. But don't spoil things
I'm
until
not.
afterward. No, I don't mean you guys. I mean anyone watching this. The fan. So, take care of yourselves out there. Be good to each other, and we will see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.